Hello, welcome to this video where we will again expand on the MQTT topic and discuss the use of Sparkplug data formatting basically in Blue Open Studio. I'm going to do a quick agenda here. Like before in our other, this is basically the third part of our a little bit of an MQTT series here. We're going to do a quick review. I will pause some slides so that you can review them, but I will also put links to the previous two videos in with this video so you can reference a little bit more information on some of these topics. Okay, we'll also talk about what is Sparkplug, what we're referring to here, and then what Sparkplug looks like in the Blue Open Studio environment, and then and then we'll do basically a live demo of Blue Open Studio and Sparkplug. Okay, real quick, here's our basic MQTT publish subscribe architecture, right, where we've got the concept of where we have an MQTT broker at the center, and then we have the different clients that are either publishing or subscribing to the different topics that reside in the broker. The clients can either publish only, subscribe only, or publish and subscribe. Again, I'm not going to dwell too much on this. There's some more detail in the previous videos. Okay, again, more details in our previous videos, but just some typical applications using Blue Open Studio. In this case, you can see you've got different devices. You've got a Blue Open Studio light SCADA client, you've got a PLC, and you've got say a mobile device, all publishing and subscribing to different topics in the broker to meet their specific needs. Okay, again, another example here. In this case, we have kind of the same thing going on, but in this case, let's say an example of where I have a PLC that let's say, does not connect, that does not have MQTT connectivity. I can now use a Blue Open Studio communication driver to get the data from that PLC and then use the MQTT driver within Blue Open Studio to publish and subscribe that data to and from MQTT brokers. Again, this is just for review. You are welcome to, this is just some of the terminologies about topics. For example, here, you are welcome to pause on this slide if you want to review this. Otherwise, please reference the previous videos. I'll scroll to the next one, put this up here for a second. Yep, so you can pause. Same thing. If any of these slides are interesting for you now, please pause them and review them. This is where I talked about in the last video, I talked about the brokers, and we're going to use the same broker today. That's why I left this slide in here, because this is basically, we're going to use the same broker to do our Sparkplug handling. Okay. And then when we look a little bit of a difference. So now when we look at MQT and Blue Open Studio, when it comes to Sparkplug B formatted data, one main thing to notice is, let me get my pointer out here, is one thing is today Blue Open Studio is a publish only with Sparkplug formatted data, right? So we can publish, but any of if we want to use Blue Open Studio as a client, we do not today have the ability to subscribe. Okay, so let's define what Sparkplug is, and this is, and again, please, I am not an expert on Sparkplug. I realize this is probably just one layer of an onion, so to speak, and I have only scratched the surface. So if I misspeak or if I don't say something correctly, please don't rip on me. Just maybe put in the comments, correct me in the comments in a nice way. But anyway, so in my mind, what we're talking about is what Sparkplug is it's defining a set format for our data and our topic structure. Because remember, when we talked about regular MQTT, not Sparkplug formatted data, basically we're just sending ASCII strings back and forth between the different clients in the brokers. And then the clients need to interpret those strings and do something with them based on the data that comes in. Okay, with Sparkplug, that's no longer the case. In Sparkplug, we know as a client, if that data is coming in this Sparkplug formatted way, we know exactly what that should look like. And that's what I have here highlighted. This Sparkplug specification is just hijacked from the sparkplug.org group, who has, that has defined this specification. And then basically this is just, I have it highlighted here, kind of what I was saying. Okay. So now, to take that to the next level, now, when we talk about how do we actually configure Blue Open Studio to send Sparkplug B formatted messages, right? So again, we're publish only, right? And we're basically saying that Sparkplug B is forcing a set topic structure in a standardized message format in MQTT, okay? And in my mind, what we're really saying, and again, this is just the way I'm organizing it in my mind, to me, the topics are more like an ID of where the data is coming from, right? So if you look at basically the topic structure in Sparkplug, you could see that it has a specific format, and you could see highlighted here in red are the fields that we need to take care of in Blue Open Studio, right? So we've got the Sparkplug V version 1 there. That's appended by the driver automatically. Then we do have a group ID, and in my mind, the group ID could be where is this data coming from, which factory. Okay. The next place in this message is a message type, right? And then in Sparkplug B, there is different message types. Typically, when we're going to be publishing, this is going to be a data publish, right? So if you look here for publishing, we're going to be publishing data. Then the next field, again, we need to define in Blue Open Studio, and again, this is where we're kind of saying this is our oven controller. And then the device ID is the address field over here, right? So we have factory 1, oven controller 0. Again, important, very important to put the forward slash. And then here we have our address, and this is where the Sparkplug data, this is essentially the data. This is going to say that when the data gets sent, it's going to be sent it's going to be sent effectively published to this address with the payload of the data that I'm sending. Okay. So note that all you've got to do in Blue Open Studio, so you could note a couple of things. This is something we haven't talked about in the previous videos, is instead of using a main driver sheet, in this case what we're using basically a standard driver sheet. And what you can see what I've done here is I've enabled write on tag change. So what happens is when any of these tags changes value, we're going to go ahead and publish to the broker. And essentially what happens is all you've got to do in Blue Open Studio to send the data in Sparkplug B formatted data is just append the SP with the colon onto the station number. Okay, but then realize though, when you do that, then Sparkplug B does invoke this topic structure, and you must follow this topic structure. If you do not, Blue Open Studio will just basically do nothing, and you could perhaps be a little bit confused as to why it's actually not doing what you think it should be doing. Okay, right? So now what we're going to do is next is we're going to use a different client this time. This time this is actually this is not a free client. This is an MQ. This is a client called MQTT.fx. I'm running a free demo. Hopefully when the demo goes, I'll go ahead and purchase it, but right now I'm running on a free demo. And the reason I'm using this client is because it has some Sparkplug B interfaces into it that make it really easy to see the Sparkplug data coming in. So, okay, so let's go ahead and show that in a live demo. Okay, so first let's look at our Blue Open Studio environment. And what I want to point out first is if I go to the driver, the MQTT driver, you'll see that for now, I have just disabled the main driver sheet where I was doing regular MQTT publishing and subscribing, so to speak. Okay, so I want to disable that because I don't want that to interfere with my Sparkplug, because I'm basically going to need to use the same tags for the source data to publish for Sparkplug. Okay, so that's so the main driver sheet is disabled. So now if I take a look at my standard driver sheet, I've made a comment in here again. So we're just doing a publish. Here's my publish, basically my write on tag change, publish on tag change. Here you could see I've appended my SP here. Here's my topic, here's my address, and again, you can see I'm using the same um, variables. So now again, if I go ahead and look at my screen, you can see here when Sparkplug is enabled, this is going to be a publish only, right? So this is not going to have any function because I can't subscribe. Again, this will be a publish only, and then this again, this down here um, won't have anything to do with Sparkplug. Okay, so now here in MQTT.fx, let's just check what we have here. So here's my local mosquito settings. Let me bring the window back into view here. So here's my broker, here's my IP address. Let me put a client ID, that makes more sense to me. Something like this. And then I'm basically going to leave everything else the same. Click OK. All right, so let's go ahead and connect my MQTTFX. Looks like it's connected. If I bring in my remote desktop of my virtual machine, we can see here that my MQTT.fx has connected here. And then what you can do is if I go to Sparkplug, so I'm going to scan, and what this will pick up is now when anything happens from my Blue Open Studio environment, these topics should populate themselves. So let's go ahead here and run our project. Okay, and you can kind of see, you watch the window. Okay, you'll see it takes a little while for the spark plug to kick in, so to speak. But now you can see, looks like all is okay. If I look at my broker, yeah, here's my Blue Open Studio connecting. And now what you'll notice here is right away you can see a difference. Again, if you have not watched the previous videos, you're not going to see, it's not going to mean much to you. But what you'll notice here is now that I'm specifying Sparkplug, right? Well, you'll see what's happened is BOS has come up with a birth certificate, and now what is actually coming up with is now it's defining that factory one topic, so to speak. Okay. Again, don't rip on me. I don't. Okay. So now if we go back to our MQTT.fx, you can see here, here's a spark plug. Here's the factory one topic. Here's the birth certificate. Okay. And there you could see it's defining different things, right? So it's defining the oven off, right? Okay. Okay, so that's happening straight away. So for example, now let me go ahead and I will say publish the oven name. I'm not going to see it. I need to fix that, but anyway, okay. So let me change that. So that should now have been published. And let's see. Okay, we could see it here. And let's go back to see if we see it here. And here you can see here's the data field. Here's the oven controller 0. It's the SP oven name. And here you can see, and here's the value oven name test that came in. Okay, and then you can see just what I can do here is essentially these increment arrows should be giving me separate publishes. Okay, if we go back to MQTT.fx, we should see some more data. Yeah, oven temp setting. Okay, so that's the last one that came in is what that looks like. Okay. All right. Okay, so in conclusion, that hopefully this was useful. In conclusion, I guess what I would say is today, unfortunately, all we can do with Sparkplug B is publish. Hopefully, in the future, we'll have the ability to also subscribe to topics, but today this is what we have. So hopefully this was useful to help you understand a little bit more about the capabilities of Blue Open Studio and its MQTT driver and its ability to publish Sparkplug B formatted data. Thanks for watching.